All right, Chief Randy Fontenot.
Good evening. First, I want to offer my condolences to Mr. Futch and the rest of the Futch family for the loss of his grandmother, Ms. Velma Futch, yesterday.
Thank you, Chief.
We've got a lot of great officers here in Eunice, those that are still with us, and you know, they work hard, they care about the city, and our police officers sacrifice a lot to keep our department going and doing the best that they can. I think that's been evident the last few years, and the work that they've been doing. They're always there when we call upon them. You know, I'm proud of the officers that we have. We have a good bunch working for us that really do care, sincerely care about the city and the people in this city. But we're losing them. We had another one resign today. Currently, I'm 7 employees short. 6 police officers and now a jailer. But it's been a constant hiring and process, and then we lose them and we hire some more. We're constantly training. We're spending quite a bit of money training, doing physicals, psychological evaluations. All of that's costing us money. The last interview that we did to hire someone was a week or 2 back, and it's been going like some of my other interviews recently. They put in the application that they've never used any illegal drugs, and during the interview, oh, well, I used a week ago at a wedding or something, and then we continued to ask them a little bit more. Well, how often do you use this stuff? Oh, not very often, just once every 2 or 3 weeks. Those are the applicants that I'm getting right now. I don't have any other applicants. I don't have anybody on an eligibility list that I can hire that's taken the civil service exam. We offer the civil service exams, and the only people that come to take the test are those that want to take the test to try to be employed with another municipality somewhere else in the state. They're not applying for positions in this city. I've gone to LSUE and told them we had some openings. I didn't get any bites over there at the criminal justice class. So, hey, we're hiring. Come see us. Y'all need a job. And nobody bites on it. They find out what the pay is. We had one good candidate. I was pretty excited about hiring him. He called us back the day after the interview, after we offered him a position, and he said, I'm sorry, I have to decline the position. Y'all just don't pay enough. He went to work for another agency. I'm running out of places to go and people to talk to, and I have no more applicants to look at right now, but we're 7 people short. So if y'all can help find me some people, I'd be appreciative of that.
Mr. Mercer.
Jack?
Chief, just for the information of the public who'll be watching this meeting, can you compare quickly your starting pay scale here with some cities close by?
Actually, we start them off at $9.75 an hour for a police officer's position. Other positions are lower than that. The jailers start off at $8.50 an hour. We are roughly about $3 per hour behind most municipalities in this area.
I know we had talked, we talk about this quite often, almost every time we get together, and because I've gone through this budget since I've been on the council. I got elected 7 years ago, and you know, my goal was to find a way to get the police officers competitive pay. And what I found out was that with our current budget and our current revenues, that it's quite impossible. And also the facts are that comparable to other municipalities, and I haven't completed the survey yet. We sent out an email to comparable sized cities and even local cities to give us their figures on what their budget is, the percentage of the city's entire budget, their starting pay. And what I've gathered back already from 8 municipalities is that you're definitely underpaid by far, but you're definitely by far over budgeted based on the city's budget and revenues, which people, if you don't understand what that is, it's saying that, you know, based on what we collect and what we give out, You know, the police department takes up over a third of the city's entire budget. And when you combine that with the fire department, 50% of the city's entire budget goes to public safety. And you still have a recreation department, street department, sewer, gas, the administrative, to survive off of less than 50%. So it's not a spending problem. And Mr. Burson has talked about this time and time again, and it's hard for us as a council to put something on the ballot without getting you the cold hard facts. So we're trying to get all these figures together so we can let the public know what we're dealing with here in the city of Eunice. And you know, not only is the police department in dire need of a raise, but the fire department is in dire need of equipment and upgrades at the fire department. You're going to get a letter in your box here this week stating what I recommend we should do. Also, our sewer plant needs to be rehabilitated, and our sewer lines. You know, we're going to be facing some times where school boards asking for a tax. They need schools to be rebuilt. I can't deny that, but we need to look in the mirror and see what do we do here locally for our city. And it's something that we're going to have to come together as a community and really tackle these problems, because the general public feels like they're overtaxed already, and it seems to be that we are, but locally we're not. So, Mr. Burson.
I think in that regard, Mayor, I'm in my 23rd year at this table, and I've always been amazed how we never ran a deficit in the city when we had by far, the lowest tax base in Southwest Louisiana. We got a base for our general taxation right now at 11.5 mills. You travel to Crowley, you're gonna find over 30 mills. You travel to Jennings, it's over 30 mills. You travel to Ville Platte, it's over 30 mills. If you travel to my old high school home in Basile, it's over 30 mills. I don't think you need a whole lot of explanation beyond that to know why public safety is having to pay 50% out of the budget that we have, and it's $3 an hour below the starting pay of surrounding towns. You've got to go up with the intake one way or the other, and we may have to let the state and the school board stuff clear out before we come to the people with something. But I don't think we'd be doing our job if we didn't give the people an opportunity to provide some more money to fix the streets, because we're spending $1 million roughly every other year on the streets. That's the same thing we were spending 23 years ago when I got on here. How much you think the cost of everything that the contractors bid when they bid on the street compares with what it was 23 years ago? You don't have to think too hard to figure that out. We've been through some tough times in Louisiana. And let me tell you, the people that financed the first pavements in the city of Eunice, they did so starting the Great Depression. Everybody was struggling to get 3 meters a day. So when you live in a small town, the sacrifice got to be made if you want to have streets that you can travel on safely, and if you want to have a police department. Because if you don't have one applicant on your roster, and you got 7 openings right now, again, the old simple arithmetic that we were all taught in grammar school tells you where we're headed, and it ain't a good place. We can dance around it all we want. I don't like to write big checks to the federal government for income tax any more than anybody else, but I always felt pretty good about paying my tax in the town I live in, because I can go out the front door of my house and see the street that they're putting down in front of the house. I know it's not being spent in China or somewhere where our latest military operation is going. You need the military, but you also need a decent street to travel on in your own hometown. And I don't have to tell you, anybody that drives the old streets right around City Hall here, and that's a pretty sadness. It's going to take more money than we got coming in, and the only way I know to produce that money is with a bond issue. And to pay a bond issue back, you're going to need 6 or 7 mills at least. We built a great ballpark for the youth when Lynn was mayor. With a bond issue, it was $2.5 million, and I don't think anybody would trade away that ballpark right now for what we had before. It lasted a long time. It's been well cared for. But you got to get the money from somewhere, and in civic fundraising, there's only one way to do it. It's a tax of some kind, either a millage to pay off a bond. Crowley redid every street in that town about 10 years ago with a 15-year bond issue. Right around Crowley, and tell me if their streets are not in pretty good shape 10 years later, because they did them all right at one time, and then they can spend less to keep them up. We never did that here. I think we're at the point where as the price of everything goes up and our tax level stays at the same low base, it ain't gonna get no better.
And Randy, the officers that are leaving, they're going to other departments, is what you're saying? Or some of them leaving to go to other police departments?
Some of them are going to other departments. Some are going back into the oil field where the money's better right now. They're leaving for different reasons, and most of them are going for better paying jobs when they leave here. And I did want to stress and clarify a couple of points. I know I've sat down and we've gone over the budget, and our budget is very lean. I think it is here in Eunice. I've even sat down with some of my officers, some of my supervisors in the police department, and looked where we could cut back. And I thought we had come up with kind of a plan. Went over there to visit with Steve Musa for him to tell me, well, yeah, that looks good here, but it's not going to work, and he'd explain to me why. So even within the police department, we weren't able to scrape up enough money that we could use to swap out for salaries to help out with that. But the one word you use is the police department was over budgeted. I don't think that's the way you meant it. I think we were,
No, based
as a
on
percentage-wise, compared
based
to our overall budget for the city, a larger portion of our budget is going to the police department than other cities. But mainly that's because our city, the entire city budget is so much smaller, and the revenues are so much less than the other cities. So it's not that we're over budgeted, it's just the city's underfunded. and
that's
what
exactly
it does is, with 50% of the budget going to public safety, it shows that the council is doing all it can to keep our public safe. So that it's a good effort on the council. Y'all are doing what y'all can for public safety, but we just need more revenues within the city.
Oh, I agree, Chief, and that wasn't to say that you were. I could promise.
I knew where you were going with it. I understood it, but I just wanted to clarify.
And on the study that we've been putting together, you're also going to have what other cities collect on their millages and so on.